Serge Gnabry, the 27-year-old Hell-End graduate, has gone ahead and pronounced his love for Arsenal. Looks like his heart is at Arsenal. His heartbeat is at London Conley after the statement he issued over the weekend as he was at the Spanish Grand Prix down in Spain. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where you're watching us from? We go into the next segment known as the Transfer News Show, where we are tackling Serge Gnabry, what he has gone ahead to say about Arsenal, his stance at Bayern Munich, because there is a new manager, Thomas Tuchel. He needs to make a huge shake-up. Is he really safe or he's not safe? And then we are discussing Mateo Kovacic. Personal terms almost being agreed of him to leave Chelsea and obviously join Man City. This is acting as a boost for Arsenal for Ilkay Gundogan, because if he comes in through, then Ilkay Gundogan looks like he's not going to renew his contract at Man City and is going to be a free agent. So it will take Mikel Arteta to convince Ilkay Gundogan to see to it that he really comes to Arsenal as he did to the previous two Man City players, that is Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. And lastly, we are going to discuss Raphinha situation, as Thomas Tuchel is keeping a very huge eye on Raphinha, and obviously, you know, even Arsenal admirers of Raphinha, and Barcelona in the situation they are into. God knows whether they'll sell or not sell Raphinha to a club that has money to spend. So smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, let's get into this Serge Gnabry story, get it out of the way, and then we even tackle other stories that we are supposed to talk about. Yesterday, there was a Spanish Grand Prix, Formula 1. Max Verstappen came out the winner, and obviously I think Lewis Hamilton came second, but it collected loads of footballers that we all never thought really love this. There was Mason Mount, there was Lewandowski, there was Reece James, there happened to be Ben Chilwell, and very many others that our cameras never got sight of. But as you see there on your screen, this is Serge Gnabry, obviously with Lewandowski. For him, he stays in Spain right now because he plays for Barcelona, his former teammate at Bayern Munich. They met and they really had the chat. Then he had to talk to, this is Mason Mount, and you see Ben Chilwell on the other side, and this is Serge Gnabry talking to Mason Mount while they're in the Spanish Grand Prix in Spain. So that shows you that there are very many footballers down there, and obviously as Serge Gnabry was down there, he was asked a very huge question concerning Arsenal, and this is what the reporter told him. The reporter asked Serge Gnabry, did you keep an eye on your old club Arsenal and how they have managed to rebuild this year too? He said, yes, of course. I think there is a saying, once a Ghana, always a Ghana. So of course I was rooting for them, hoping, but they had a very good season. So that is Serge Gnabry, and the huge statement in there for you is, once a Ghana, always a Ghana. You know, meaning that it's like a saying of a soldier, that once a soldier, always a soldier. What does that saying insinuate? That saying insinuates that when you are called upon by the government to really get hold of the gun, to go on and really go to war, you are supposed to go on and really go ahead and really react positively. The response should be positive, it shouldn't be negative, and that is Serge Gnabry in there for you. Meaning that if Arsenal make an attempt to really want to get him back, I think he'll give in. So that is Serge Gnabry for you, and he went ahead to watch Arsenal. He was following up all the updates coming in from the Premier League before Arsenal went ahead to lose the trophy to Man City in the last 7 games, where Arsenal looked very, very bad, drawing 3, and obviously losing against City. They lost against Nottingham, and they lost against Brighton. They only won against Wolverhampton Wanderers and Newcastle. So out of the 8 games, Arsenal lost 2, drawn 3, and obviously won 2. It shows you how it was really bad in the climax of the season. But Serge Gnabry is really interested in Arsenal. He follows up everything that really happens at Arsenal. He's so much positive on how everything is panning out at Arsenal and how the club is really being ran. Back in the Champions League, that would be one of the boasts that at least could really see him obviously come out and do the needful. But the big question is Mikel Arteta an admirer of Serge Gnabry? We all understand the answer is yes, because Arteta admires Serge Gnabry and he is loved so much by the board of Arsenal because of his versatility. He can play as a second striker, he can play as a right forward, he can play as a left forward or right winger, he can also play as a central attacking midfielder. He's massively gifted, and he is a graduate of the Hell End Academy. Though things were really staggering up at Arsenal, he went to West Brom, then he went back to Germany, was it Borussia Mönchengladbach, and that's where Bayern Munich got him from and signed him, and that is the Serge Gnabry you see, who's here firing in all cylinders. Last season he scored 14 goals in the Bundesliga, where he found himself playing 34 games and 5 assists. In the Champions League, 8 games and 2 goals. So that is Serge Gnabry for you. DF Pokal Cup, 2 assists, obviously, for the player, and he played 4 games. That is Serge Gnabry for you. And lots of speculations have been coming around that him and Tuchel are announcing eye to eye, and the trio of Serge Gnabry, Leroy Sane, and Sadio Mane is going to be really sold by Thomas Tuchel because he believes they don't have the right mentality to play at the club that he manages. But we've got a story today coming in from Kelly, how he's really a very close source to Bayern Munich. He's a chief reporter for Sport 1 and FC Bayern Munich. He has gone ahead and told us that Serge Gnabry has got credit with Thomas Tuchel for his performances at the end of the season. Gnabry is currently in the plans of Thomas Tuchel. So Thomas Tuchel looks like he's so much in love with Serge Gnabry. But the Build told us that they're looking to move on this trio and obviously getting other players at the club of Bayern Munich. So let's wait and see what's happened to Serge Gnabry. But I think Arsenal is really one of those players they're really monitoring on their list to see to it that he comes in through and obviously gets them to the next level of winning trophies, because these are kind of players that Arsenal need. Arsenal doesn't need to go out and sign in players that are not really finished articles. Right now, Arsenal needs to first get in like 4 players who are really finished articles, then they go to the young ones like the Franz Neders, Sacha Boy, Pedrinho, Marcus Franca, that kind of talent that everyone is really looking at, Vega, but they have to first get in quality players onto the field of play, see to it that they really put up a fight next season as they take on the likes of City, as the likes of Man United are also really ready to awaken themselves up for the trophy challenge next season. Now, we all know that Man City, Chelsea gave Man City permission to really talk to Matteo Kovacic, and Fabrizio Romano has given us an update as far as this need is concerned. The agreement on the personal terms between Matteo Kovacic and Man City is really close, almost completed. Man City and Chelsea will be in direct contact to discuss the fee. Kovacic will leave. Now, Matteo Kovacic, 29 years of age, is wanted and admired by Pep Guardiola. He's a very good player. He can play as a CDM, but most importantly, he has gone ahead to thrive more as a box-to-box midfielder or a number 8. And with Man City being uncertain of the future of Ilkay Gundogan, because right now, Man City have gone ahead to put a new contract on the table, but Ilkay Gundogan and his agent have gone ahead to really take time to put pen and paper to it because they believe there are other huge offers. Man City wants to offer Ilkay Gundogan a contract of 1 year with a further 1 more year to trigger. Arsenal is offering him 2 years and another optional year. The same applies to Barcelona. So he's trying to really weigh in those offers on the table to see where he's really going. But the coming in of Kovacic obviously shows you that they've failed to agree with Man City, and that's why Man City have gone ahead to get in Kovacic early enough before even the transfer window opens. I think this deal is going to be gotten over the line after the Champions League. It's going to be announced very soon, and Ilkay Gundogan will also announce his next destination as a player. But this signature of Mateo Kovacic helps Arsenal a lot, and Barcelona, the two teams that are really leading the rest to sign Ilkay Gundogan. Why? That means Man City are not really going to really stay with Ilkay Gundogan. Ilkay Gundogan has proven to be a very good player, and he has gone ahead to really score very many goals for them, especially in the last 6 games. Has gone ahead to score 6 goals. That is Ilkay Gundogan. And a team like Arsenal would need Ilkay Gundogan. I've seen some Arsenal fans say, we don't need Ilkay Gundogan, he's old. But tell me which Arsenal player can do or can offer what Ilkay Gundogan has gone ahead to offer for Man City this season. I think you need me to bring you the stats of the player this season. They are really massive, and if at all he was at a club like Arsenal, would have gone ahead to offer a lot. Look, Premier League, 31 games, he has scored 8 goals and 4 assists. Champions League, 1 goal. Those are 9 goals into the Premier League. In the FA Cup, I think he has gone ahead to score some 3. So he has gone ahead to have close to 13, 14 goals a season. But if at all you are to weigh the power of those goals, my God, you know, there is the brace scored against Leeds. There is a goal he scored against Everton. The game was really tight. He scored a brace in the finale of the FA Cup, granting them a very huge chance to win the treble, you know. Last season, on the final day, he scored a brace as Everton was 2 goals ahead of them and Liverpool was topping the table. You know, when he came in through off the bench and scored, he really took Man City to triumph. So, I understand your matter of argument, but Arsenal needs Ilkay Gundogan. You know, you can't rely on to young talent. I understand Declan Rice is a good player, but he's young, 24 years of age. Moise Caicedo, 21 years of age. Now, tell me the reason as to why they won't capitulate as Arsenal did. You know, so they need some experience into that team to really bring in the leadership skills that Ilkay Gundogan is offering for the side of Man City. But back to Mateo Kovacic, personal terms are really going to get completed between him and Man City, and very soon here we go is going to be gotten from Fabrizio Romano. And I think what's really taking all this long is just all about the Champions League finale. They want to play onto the Champions League final. They're going to play on Saturday, because right now we announced that we brought in Mateo Kovacic. You know, it can disorganize the camp, you know. It can disorganize the camp because players like Calvin Phillips looks like they've not gone ahead to do the exact job that Pep Guardiola brought them in to do for at Man City. And just one player losing his appetite, you know, and focus can affect the entire dressing room. So Man City don't want to really see that story out. Even Ilkay Gundogan's future is not supposed to be really addressed, not until they've gone ahead to play into the final. Lastly, let's talk about Thomas Tuchel and Raphinha. Plettigol, who works for Sky Sports News Germany, has told us that Thomas Tuchel is a big fan of Barcelona winger Raphinha. As things stand, the Brazilian is not a confirmed transfer target for Bayern Munich, but one to keep an eye on in the coming weeks. Now, keeping eyes on to Raphinha, because Barcelona need to sell players to raise money. That's it. Right now, they need to raise 210 million euros to get in new players, you know. So, one of the players that is being talked of to be sold is Raphinha, and they want close to 70 or 80 million euros. And we all understand that Bayern Munich feels like they should gate in players like Raphinha and especially the manager Thomas Tuchel. Remember, Thomas Tuchel was the manager at Chelsea while that battle between Arsenal, Barcelona and Chelsea took place at Leeds, as they all fought for the signature of Raphinha, as they all made a bid of £65 million. That is Arsenal and Chelsea. But the player said, I'm not going to those clubs. I want to go to Barcelona, until Barcelona raised that amount of money that the bidding war of Chelsea and Arsenal had gave birth to. So Thomas Tuchel is a very huge admirer of Raphinha. That's why he's really keeping an eye on him. If at all there is a situation at Barcelona that allows them to sell Raphinha, he'll be one of the first people to knock onto the door and obviously sign Raphinha. But even Arsenal admirers in the January transfer window, they went in with an offer of 70 million euros, but it was turned down by Barcelona, and they told them that this player is not for sale. So now we call upon your thoughts onto Gnabry pronouncing his love for Arsenal. His heart is at Arsenal. Then Mateo Kovacic to Man City, personal terms almost complete. And lastly, what do you think, or what do you make of Tuchel keeping an eye on Raphinha? Will he get the deal out of the way? All that and more into the comment section below. Good morning, those going to bed. Good night. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Rokani David remains my name. Ciao, ciao.